Good morning. Our next speaker is an accomplished University of Phoenix alumna who has traveled the world, earned an undergraduate degree from Northern Arizona University in education, taught kindergartners as well as junior high students, and is married with 4 sons. And even with all that, Kelly O'Hara felt she could do more. Over the years, Kelly volunteered with the YMCA and was a part of the Raggers program. Raggers is a program for those who wish to make a commitment to themselves as well as the YMCA. To participate in Raggers, a person must pledge to work for personal growth and be willing to be held accountable for it. And Kelly was more than ready to do just that. Kelly's path to personal growth was through the Master of Science in Counseling program at University of Phoenix. In this way, she knew she would be able to grow and in turn would be able to help others in their personal journeys. And that's exactly what she has done. Kelly completed her master's program in 2010 and now counsels adolescents and their families. Kelly is helping them make positive, meaningful changes in their lives, just as she has in her own. She is a true believer in lifelong learning, and she is by all accounts a fabulous example of a Phoenix. Please welcome Kelly Jean O'Hara.
Good morning, family, friends, faculty, and class of 2011. We are all here to commence the journey on which these graduates have been for the last few years. I imagine many of you graduates are sitting here in somewhat of a surreal state. I know that I was when I was in your shoes. You have all invested a lot of sweat equity. You've worked hard in hopes that it would someday pay off, perhaps with your current job or with your career dreams and aspirations. I'm here to tell you that it will, especially if you try to apply some very simple concepts to your daily interactions with others. I encourage you to keep in mind a few things that I have learned and continue to work on in my own journey. After I finished graduate school and earned my master's in counseling, my husband insisted that I take a break. I think he affectionately told me that I needed to learn to take a battery out. While I was on this forced sabbatical, I began to pay attention to the things that had been neglected. While I was in school, as many of you may have, I adopted a survival mode attitude merely to get through the day. Your to-do list might have looked something like this: go to work, write a paper, attend a learning team meeting, and assist your child with a school project. While I was on my forced leave of absence, my day looked more like this: read People magazine, clean the fingerprints off the stainless steel refrigerator, plan something for dinner, and watch some Jersey Shore while becoming a real housewife of Gilbert. While at first wasting my days away was somewhat blissful, my mind soon began to get hungry, and reading Who Wore It Best was no longer enough. I started to think about the next step in my new adventure as a therapist. I knew that I had the tools to be a counselor, but how could I continue to grow and learn and become an amazing counselor in person? I immediately began to research and threw together a PowerPoint to illustrate what I had discovered. Not really. You don't have to either. What I did do was think about how I wanted to evolve as a person through my profession while helping others. I was asked to discuss the importance of lifelong learning. Continuing your education does not necessarily mean academically, like attending conferences or subscribing to journals, although those are good ideas. It can also mean building upon and developing the personal skills and traits that allow you to use your education in the most effective way. Continuing your interpersonal education will serve you exponentially. Think about your own experiences. You may have gone to a dentist with an impeccable reputation, but if he were unkind or made you feel foolish, you might not go back to that dentist. Or maybe you had a supervisor who was condescending, and because you were treated poorly, you weren't inclined to do a good job for him. As a former teacher, the concept of lifelong learning is near and dear to me. I always let my students know that I do not know everything, but I can certainly teach them how to discover what it is they need to know. The other concept that must be incorporated into an educator's role believe that while continuing to learn content is imperative to remaining competitive in this global market, the more important attributes on which one should never cease to work are those that make an individual one with great human qualities. As a child, I was fortunate to have those principles modeled by my parents, teachers, and the counselors that I had the privy of knowing each year at YMCA summer camp. Like Lynn said, I have been a ragger since I was 12, and the RAG program was designed to encourage people, starting with early adolescence, to set goals to become a better you. And what that means for each individual can be quite different. Along with a personal goal, there is a creed by which a ragger attempts to live his life. And that creed holds some simple concepts that lay the foundation to becoming a better person. I would be true, for there are those who trust me, is the first line in the creed. The concept seems simple, however, it is far too easy to misrepresent oneself and be untrustworthy. When ulterior motives are the root of our interaction, we are acting in a way that disregards our authenticity. Being our most trustworthy and authentic self not only allows us to live with honest motives, it allows us to be valued for our integrity. It is also important to remember that integrity is how we behave when no one can see. One must not only be trustworthy to others, one must strive to be true to oneself. As Henry David Thoreau said, be true to your work, your word, and your friend. Another trait that should be cultivated while learning and growing into your best self is that of bravery. I do not mean this in the traditional sense like Chuck Norris or a ninja or Chuck Norris playing a ninja. I mean to be brave and take the road less traveled. Be strong enough to live with conviction and encourage others around you to do the same. A true leader is one who encourages others, or a true leader is one who does not preach to his followers, however, lives each day by stellar example. He is one who commands, not demands, the respect of those in his presence. Be brave and strong and stand up for what is right, even when it's not popular. Another area in which we should all continue to grow and learn is that of understanding our fellow man. We are educated, therefore we're conditioned to be tolerant of those different from ourselves. You already have practical application with this from your time during learning team assignments. I'm sure you can recall a time when someone on a learning team did or said something about which you did not agree. I encourage you to reach deeper than what is expected than to merely meet the politically correct status quo and to learn about others because it's right. Every person is unique and brings to the table a different perspective from which to view the world. If we strive to truly understand and honor each other, regardless of our differing opinions, we become better as a people. Last, I encourage you to recognize your gifts and talents and give back. You all have them. Everyone is blessed with something that can be shared, whether it is a kind word, a sense of humor, or accounting expertise. There are ways that we can brighten the lives of others with our talents. The other day on Oprah, I saw a young girl who was a violinist. She raises money for charities with her concerts, and she said, I want to make the world a better place, one song at a time. That little girl reminded me that we are living our best when we are giving. Class of 2011, being educated is not enough. I challenge you to take the education that you have earned and add to it these character traits. You will outshine those with whom you compete. You will affect change in those with whom you come in contact. And with each interaction, as a good human, you will affect change in the world. As Henry Ward Beecher said, he is rich or poor according to what he is, not according to what he has. Congratulations on your amazing accomplishments, class of 2011. And like Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you.